I played Like a Dragon,
Pirate Yakuza.
Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. Thank you. I got there in the end. I'm going to struggle with some of this, so please sit tight. But I decided to finally check out a Yakuza game. This is part of the Like a Dragon series, which is a bit of a spin-off of the more serious Yakuza games. The most recent was Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, which is where one of the side characters had an adventure in Hawaii. Previously to that, there was I think the Like a Dragon game was a spin-off. I won't go into that. This game takes another character from the cast list of the Yakuza franchise, and his name's Goro Majima. That's him there. He is a character who wakes up on a beach with amnesia in Hawaii or on a small island off Hawaii, and then proceeds to pursue a life in piracy in a modern-day world. This game is bananas, and all these are. But the best thing about this whole experience I've had is that this character doesn't know who they are from the previous games. I don't know who this character is from the previous games. Early in the game, you meet some of the more serious cast members from Yakuza who are like, hey, it's us. Can we get you to come back and play in the real world and go back to dealing with the Yakuza family and all this sort of stuff. And this character's like, no, I just want to play this fun pirate game. And it is echoing my experience with the game perfectly. Because I see all them and I'm like, I don't know who any of you are. This looks like a lot more fun, so I'm going to enjoy that. Which has been a really wonderful experience, or a way to get into this series at least. This character, from what I've been told and what I've found out slowly as I played it, he was kind of like the real, the comical but really sadistic shirt open dragon tattoo killer in the group, that it was a bit unhinged, and now he's woken up and he's kind of become a nice guy.
He's like the bestie of the main guy.
Yeah, he's the bestie, but I think he was unhinged a bit, and now he's kind of like, well, I'm now going to take on this new life and just basically make a new story for myself. That story is weird. That small island he lands on, he's saved by a young boy who he then meets the father of and goes, well, I'm going to hang out with you guys. The little boy says, I want to get off the island, but I can't because I have asthma. They go find a pirate ship together and eventually says, I'm taking you with me. You then leave the island and you convince them all to come with you on the pirate ship. You go to an island called Madlantis, which is a huge, like, everyone in this world, in this area, has taken on piracy and just really loves it. So they've created a big pirate haven that you sail to, and eventually the game breaks down into exploration and brawling and pirate combat, because brawling is a huge part of the Yakuza series. It is essentially a third-person brawler and with some light RPG. And that element of the game is wild. This is real-time combat once you start a fight, whereas the previous two games were these turn-based fights.
The originals, or at least I think Yakuza 0, and that one was a brawler. And
they were brawler, and they feel very Virtua Fighter, like they have sort of, or Tekken, they have like lots of big heavy hits and crazy combat. They then tried their hand at turn-based, I think, to mixed reviews. I think nothing too bad, but people were like, oh, they shifted to it. This has gone straight back to, you engage a group of enemies and you have this kind of like you versus 20 and you have this brawl. The thing they've added, or the part of this game that's unique, obviously, as you can see, is there is some ship combat, and as you navigate between the two or three hub areas of the world, you can set out in these sort of lightly open areas where you take control of a ship. But it does feel like, it feels like Black Flag had a baby with Crazy Taxi. Like, it's got the fun of ship combat, but with none of the seriousness, obviously, and a lot of the arcadey elements. And that's a huge part of these games, and a huge part of this development team is like, they prioritize video game over everything, or they inject video game into every element of this story, of this world, of these interactions. Everything is dripping with UI, score, just special effects where there are no special effects needed. And unfortunately, I would usually be very allergic to all that kind of stuff, but I love here that it is just dives in head first, and they are like, we are very proud of that. This is this style of game, and they're not ashamed of any element of it, and it just wears its like love for it on its sleeve. And yeah, it's a crazy ride. I've put maybe like 7 or 8 hours into it now, because I just couldn't put it down, because I do not know what's around every corner. I don't understand the characters' motivations, but that's kind of a joyous thing. I find often with Japanese games, that is sort of the draw card for me. I really enjoy that. It's unpredictable in a really refreshing manner. And here it is just, maybe if you played Yakuza games, you're like, I saw that coming. But nothing that's happened so far in this story I have seen coming.
I think you'd really love Yakuza 0.
Yes, that was
the very first. It's like the return, pretty much, because Yakuza Kiwami. So
the Kiwami was the
Like a Dragon is the actual name in Japan. We call it Yakuza, but Yakuza Kiwami is the first 2 games, and then they start moving up. And I think Yakuza 0 came out.
Oh look! Honestly, don't bother. It's
too much. However, the 0. You got to. I think you'd fucking love it.
Is that a good entry point?
Fantastic entry
into
point.
Yakuza?
Yeah, Yakuza 0
I watched a video trying to recap all of them. They said don't start with 0. So I think it's varying opinions on them all. I would actually say this is a really good one to start with. Okay. And honestly, I could see you enjoying this just out of like the absurdism of it, but the really fun gameplay that is in every part of it. Like no part of it feels. Look, the one gripe I probably have with it is that it's overwritten and it is in that classical sort of JRPG, or not JRPG, but like there is just too much dialogue for every scene. It's so indulgent, and it doesn't apologize for that at any point. So you just eventually learn what you can start sort of skipping, or you can do that thing where you sort of half skip the start of a sentence and they eventually go, I guess we should, and we're going to take, and we'll leave over, and thanks to you and all of us, make sure we grab that, and we're going. And you're like, great, okay, that'll make sense. So I've watched the cutscenes, but
I don't understand the story and can't predict what's going to happen next. He says skipping the story.
No, I haven't skipped a single cutscene. I've just, sometimes there's just a lot more extra dialogue where, if I can find you the clip, I can tell you, they say, let's get on the ship, and then they just proceed to, for 5 minutes, talk about getting on the ship without actually getting on the ship, and then they get on the ship, and I was like, nothing was learned. It was just elaborate. So, eccentric.
Are you going to play other Yakuza games now, do you reckon?
Don't think so. I'll get further through this. What I worry is that, not worry, but I think this game is really sort of balls to the wall, crazy and fun, and I'm not to say the others aren't, but I think the others still have some attachment to the greater story, and I'd be like learning the story backwards. I'm really enjoying being naive to it and learning it through this experience. I don't know if I would then want to go back and have to reintroduce myself or be reintroduced to those characters. But I'm not discrediting those games. I'm just saying
you're not discrediting at all. I would just say there's definitely a larger story in the original games. This is very much like Majima wants to do something fun. But the vast majority of your time in every Yakuza game is not doing the story.
Sure. Well, that is a huge part of it. And I've only just started to discover how many mini games there are in it. It is insane. And almost in and I might be wrong here, but like I played a little bit of like Shenmue back in the day. Shenmue back in the, and that game surprised me every time there was like, there's a pool table. And I walk past it, it's like, you can play pool. It's like, what? And then it's like, there's people playing Mahjong. It's like, you can play Mahjong. And back then, due to the limitations, it blew my mind that there was more than 2 core gameplay elements in a game. This one is like, there's a go-kart track. There, for no other reason, there's poker tables everywhere. There's karaoke bars, which is a staple. But there's so many things around that are so unnecessary. There's batting cages where you shoot like cannonballs that come at you, and it's a full game. Like that mini game, the batting cage, which is in the other games, but here it's got a pirate twist. People are like, thank God that's there. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth had in it a whole Animal Crossing like arcade game that people played more than they got obsessed with, and they were more into that game than the main game. And so I don't doubt there's something similar in here. But yeah, I was hesitant to play this. I was worried that I would just find it too silly. But I thought I do like pirates, and maybe a silly adventure in this world might be the best way to sort of be introduced to these characters. And yeah, I'm loving it. I really love the captain, who's Goro Majima, voiced by Michael Mercer. Is that
no way.
Who's the DM for Matt Mercer, sorry. And he's fantastic in it. I know a lot of people dubs versus subs kind of thing, but I would say the English voice acting here is really good. It is just, so far I'm kind of dying to go back because I want to know where this stupid story is going, because I'm not going to predict it. I just landed on Honolulu. I'm now in the modern, like, where I am in the game is not Pirate Islands. I'm running around suburban streets trying to pick up flyers for the mascot in a giant mascot outfit. Like, couldn't have told me I was going to be doing that. I wouldn't have known.
That is the beauty of Yakuza games.
Yeah, I think this is a great entry point for people. And also, the opening is a musical. And it just, they get on the ship and just decide to break into song, and it's it's like going to a musical. It's kind of terrible, and you love it. And I was like, this is fantastic. So yeah, I would recommend it for. I'm sure Yakuza fans love it, but or Like a Dragon fans do. But I now am one of those people.
Yakuza guy.
I'm a Yakuza, and I'm probably saying it wrong. It's Yakuza, not Yakuza. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Yakuza.
A Yakuza
No,
guy.
they're fucking fantastic.
They've never done anything wrong.
They're
The Yakuza.
everything games.
Yeah.
They're
I'm
everything
happy that
games.
Shenmue thing found that its outlet in the world, right? Like
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
a game
Yeah.
that came out, the sequel took ages, and it's like it's so expensive and it's kind of weird, but it's found its place in the world.
I just think there's like
Was
That-
it too
love it.
serious? Was Shenmue too
Too
self-serious?
too expensive to make.
And-
I'll tell you that much.
Games can be just absurdly expensive if they've got a massive market. Shenmue was obviously like I just remember playing the Shenmue 2 demo.
Yeah.
I had it on a disc and I just played the fuck out of it.
There was so
and I
much
was like,
game in it.
when is this game going to come out? And I don't know. I'd never bought it, but because I was a tiny child. But I just remember being really serious and like the tone was like really sad.
yeah.
And like Yakuza obviously is just all about absurd fun all the time.
But did it start
You can
out
just
serious? I don't know much about Yakuza. Did it start out serious
not,
then became
not
became
serious, but it definitely
always playful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then they've
Yeah.
dabbled
Gotcha.
with the slightly more. There was like the hard-boiled detective spin-off as well. So it's
Judgment.
I just think
yeah.
it's that kind of like it is that unpredictable Japanese nature of storytelling, which is wildly unpredictable but fantastic because of it.
Yeah.
There is even little moments here where suddenly it got heartfelt and it had no right to do so.
Oh.
Musically and like someone would just tell a story about their dying father, and I was like, "What's going on? We're on a crazy pirate island." And yeah, it's.
I think the tongue-in-cheek nature of those games is what endears people to it. Because,
Yeah.
like, I mean, you know, in all realness, the Yakuza are, you know,
that's what I said before. They've
scary,
done nothing. Yeah,
scary guys.
they're not bad
Yeah.
guys.